What it is, YouTube? It's your boy DC coming back with another bullseye tutorial today on the channel. All right, so we're coming back with the part 4. Now today I'm actually showing you guys how to mix the instrumental. So this is episode 4 of a dope series I'm doing where I'm doing a full mix breakdown and breaking it down into different parts. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Down below, you want to support the channel, check out the links, cop a preset. You know, also if you need a mix, you know, you could book me. So let's get to it right now. Let's get to these gems and this information. Let's go.
I've been calling from 5 a.m. in the morning. I got this feeling. I know you know, don't explain it. The time is now. You've been lost but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can prove. The time is now. You've been lost but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can prove. Don't keep me waiting, I'm levitating. Blame it on me, I will take it.
All right, so y'all gotta understand what we're working with here today. And usually with the Afro beats, you know, like TYLA, those usually come with the samples, you know what I mean? Like the African samples, there might be a certain like drum loop. I noticed that with a lot of those type of beats, it's like usually like a preset of a drum loop. You know what I mean? It's like how I'm trying to say, it's usually not broken up into a bunch of different parts. It's usually just a loop with some instruments built around it. All right. So let's look at very first thing is the actual melody and the music itself.
I've been
So because this is like an Afro beats type of song and it doesn't have a traditional 808 and kick, what I did is like, I know that, you know, I'm thinking about how can I add some turkey onto the dinner plate? You feel me? Where's the meat gonna come from? Where's dinner gonna come from tonight? Right. So on this song, I already know that, like, yo, I can't depend on the low end of a bass 808 bass. I don't really have access to the actual kick stem itself because it's inside the kit with the rest of the loop. So it looks like my main melody is gonna have to give me some of the low end, and this is a concept of low end management. So you know, what I did is I used a Spectre and I added some harmonic density to the 113 area, just to make it sound more solid. And I know that's giving me my low end is the pads and the actual music bus, because I don't actually have a real bass here. So just me doing a little bit of that Spectre, which is adding harmonic density, but you got to understand it's on the warm mode too, and the warm mode has a bump too. It's modeling triotubes. So, you know, just triotubes in general add even order harmonics, which thickening things up in the low end. I could have did the tape too, but I like the warm better, and just only half a dB made a huge difference. Even when the lug drum came through, it just sounded more deeper and lower. After that, I used the UAD ATR. I just wanted to get the more low end. And how did I do it? I used the tape. Understanding that tape has a bump in the mid-range, I used the ATR, which is also going to give me saturation in general, but this is adding more body to the loop and actually making it sound less like a loop and more like a real set of instruments working together, because it has some saturation and some nice salt and pepper, you feel me, and lemon and lime on that motherfucker. Yeah, and I actually brought the volume down a little bit. So yeah, after that, I've been boosting up all this, like, you know, low, mid, and stuff like that. From these two things, I started to cut into it with the fab filter. After that, I use this. It's a free plugin. It's called a Polyverse Widener, and I like this specifically because I was able to keep my low end mono. So all that low end that I worked hard for, I was able to keep it. I'm able to use this to keep it mono in the low end, similar to like a BX mastering EQ, where it's like, I'm monoing the low end. It's pretty much just avoiding everything at 136. I don't want to make that wider. I want that to be solid and dense. And just the fact that I even use a widener kind of creates space for the vocal too, type shit. And then, like, just because I wanted the music to flow really well, I wanted it to flow on the sides, I use track spacer. And on the track spacer, I think it's only the mid channel. Yep, it's on mid side mode. So we only cut in. We're using a pair of scissors to cut a hole down the middle, right? So every time the lead vocal comes in, it's gonna cut a little hole only in the mono channel. So this in general is just gonna make the vocal sound even like the music sound wider too, because now I've taken out some of the mid channel, helping my vocal be more clarity and present. You feel me? Because the mid range overlap between the music and the vocal, it kind of got mucky a little.
The time is now. You've been lost, but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can prove. The time is now. You've been lost, but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can prove. Don't keep me waiting. I'm levitating. Blame it on me, I will take it. Don't keep me waiting. I'm levitating.
So that's kind of how like your ear hears it, like give and take. So because I cut some out the mid channel with the track spacer, I think I just left that motherfucker on default preset damn near. Let it go to work, no filters. It creates a great synergy between the lead vocal and the melody. All right. So now with the African, little drums and shit like that, a great thing to use is like reverb, like a big reverb. I know that song Water by TYLA has like, there's just pow, these big snaps, pow, upside the head. You feel me? That reverb just makes that slap feel like crazy as hell, and super aggressive and like an exclamation mark in the beat.
Explain it. The time is not explain it.
Boring. Like without the fucking reverb, it sounds boring, and it don't sound mainstream. So that's what people usually do. They have like a little quick exclamation mark type of one-shot drum, and they'll just throw a nice reverb on it. And this reverb is different from all the other reverbs. Important gem to know: when you put in reverb on a drum, make sure the pre-delay is on 0, so that as soon as the transient of that the snare hits or whatever percussion, the reverb comes through right then and there too. I fucked around with the time and the color and all that stuff, and Lively snare room was kind of like the preset I started from. And that reverb kind of just adds more momentum to it, type shit like that. So that's why I did it. Something too, as the more mature you become as a music person, like, okay, there's certain shit I just don't gotta touch it. It sounds perfect already, and this was one of those things.
Don't keep me waiting. Don't keep me waiting. I'm levitating. Blame it on me, I will take it. Don't keep me waiting. I'm levitating. Blame it on me, I will take it. Don't keep me waiting. I'm levitating. Blame it on me, I will take it.
It's a really low type of sound, and yeah, I kept it dry, and that kind of gives a little bit of contrast because we kind of got a bowl of soup already going. Like this, the fact that this main melody already has so much like RMS and sustain and long pads and Rhodes and a really wet electric guitar and stuff like that. It already sounds so wet. We got a bowl of soup kind of going on. So, you know, when you have a bowl of soup, you usually put that motherfucker with a loaf of bread or a dry piece of toast or some crackers, some Ritz crackers on the side type stuff. So yeah, we need something dry to provide a little contrast. And that's what these drums right here are giving us, something dry. I need water type of drums, you feel me, type shit, a bongo or whatever. And then after that, on the main drum loop, I use the UAD over obesity, the UAD overweight, the UAD fat soul, the UAD fat boy. Okay, most important thing I use this is just because for a little bit of the warmth circuit, right, a little bit of compression. It's just modeling tape compression, and I just like it because the a little bit of tape compression on drums like this. Not only does the tape compression glue the drums to the lead, because you know they both got tape things, right? But different tape plugins, right? So they still got the same ingredients in the soup, but different brands of vegetables. You know, they're not, the vegetables didn't come from the same company, type shit. So most importantly is that the fact that I got a little bit of the soft saturation, it kind of like rounds off the transients, and it makes sure that not everything is too sharp, because there's a lot of percussion elements, and I'm trying to add a little bit of contrast between a sharp ass knife and a plastic knife. I'm showing you a real knife and a plastic knife that's a little bit softer, you know?
I've been calling from 5 a.m. in the morning. I got this feeling, I know you know, don't explain it. The time is now, you've been lost but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can prove. The time is now, you've been lost but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I've been calling from 5 a.m. in the morning.
I think really what it does is it makes everything else sound bigger and thicker, because also I'm hitting the 0 VU, which means I'm clipping the plugin, and this is actually built into it. So, you know, I'm adding more harmonic density to the drum kit. I use spiff, add punch to drum bus, and man, I love the transient enhancement on this shit.
I've been calling from 5 a.m. in the morning. I got this feeling, I know you know, don't explain it. The time is now, you've been lost but I found you. There's nothing
So being strategic about it, I already know, like, damn, bro, I want to clap, 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 all that other shit. I want it to hit harder. The kick already kind of felt good, but I want everything, like the clap, the other percussive elements to move up a little bit better, but I don't have access to the real individual stems. It's a fucking drum loop, which is most of the African music. I feel like it's just a drum loop made around other loops type stuff. And yeah, this is what I did in this situation. I used spiff, and I only transient enhanced the high end where the clap, 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 and all the movement is at.
I've been calling from 5 a.m. in the morning. I got this feeling, I know you know, don't explain it.
Adds clarity, but it feels more forward. And I just notched out a bunch of shit, you know, frequencies I didn't like. I used the double lock on parallel, and I only did this because when you use a little bit of distortion like this, it kind of has a great way of adding presence. So that's why I did that.
I've been calling from 5 a.m. It's now or never. I don't wanna do this later. I'm a sign a song, I don't want the pressure, just bring the chaser. 1, 2, 3 short shots. I got a slow whiny tender most. The time is now, let's have some fun. The time is now, you've been lost but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can prove. The time is now, you've been lost but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can prove.
All right, cool. So yeah, that's what the distortion does, and the preset is giant drum sizer, right? So I already know that this is gonna kind of like add some of that distortion in the mid range that will make the drums feel bigger than what they are. Then I use a shaker, acoustic tamer, and this is just literally reducing the transients off the shaker, making it blend back into the music. Yeah, so it helps to just get that really nice bounce. Afro beats is all about the bounce, man. All right, after that I use the fresh air, and this is brightening up the whole everything.
It's now or never. I don't wanna do this later. My sign a song, I don't want the pressure, just bring the chaser. 1, 2, 3 short shots. I got a slow whiny tender most. The time is now, let's have some fun. The time is now. You've been lost but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can prove. The time is now. You've been lost but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can.
It just lets you hear all the details in the beat and the rhythm. And then last thing I used on the beat, which is the aux, I just used the saturation a little bit from here, and I'm also clipping. It's just only clipping the kick. You feel me? So that's pretty good because I don't want my kick to just ram into my master fader, which we're gonna talk about in the next couple episodes, how we mastered this motherfucker. You feel me? But most importantly, man, I just threw the standard clip on the 2-track beat, and it's only hitting it by a dB. You know, just helping the drums hit hard, and there's gonna be some transients that overlap from the drum rhythm to the kick and the shaker and all that stuff. All those transients are gonna add up, and they're gonna eat up my headroom. So I just only use this right here to just kind of keep them under control.
It's now or never. I don't wanna do this later. My sign a song, I don't want the pressure, just bring the chaser. 1, 2, 3 short shots. I got a slow whiny tender most. The time is now, let's have some fun. The time is now. You've been lost but I found you. There's nothing to hide, I can prove.
All right, so that's pretty much the end of the video here today. Just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check the links down below to cop a preset, and we're going to keep this series rolling. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.